It's Wolf. There we go. Mike did not want to unmute. It's Wolf, and it is the 2024 Christmas Eve to Christmas Day live stream. I'm still kind of setting up, so I need to make sure sound and everything sounds okay. So if you guys hear some feedback here, sorry about that. So let's see. I can't really hear myself. I'm trying, like, it's so hard sometimes because there's always that slight delay. It's like, it's tough to actually, because, like, I want to hear myself, so I have to stop talking to hear myself. Okay, it seems alright, I think. Now I also just want to make sure that I'm streaming in 1080p, since I can do that. Okay, I am streaming in 1080p, but, as you guys have maybe noticed, the game, like, quality is not great, and that is literally just the game. So this year, so I've been doing for the past couple years when I do these streams, I usually end up doing, like, Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War Zombies, at least for part of it, and that's what I'm doing again this year. And I'm not going to be playing Cold War Zombies the entire stream. I'm going to try to jump over to Black Ops 6 in a little while, maybe after, like, an hour and a half. But, like, I did it on PS5 the first year, or, like, for, like, 2 years or whatever, and then I did it on PS4 the 1 year just to kind of change things up. And then I decided this year, I was like, oh, you know, I'll go ahead and grab the Xbox version of Cold War and go ahead and play it on Xbox. Well, I bought the Xbox version, but apparently since Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War was, I think, the very first Call of Duty to come out on next-gen consoles, even though the case said Xbox One and Xbox Series X, the game was actually the Xbox One version. It wasn't the smart delivery thing, which is really strange. I don't know why they did that. So it says that it's both versions, but then if you look at the fine print, it's like, no, this is actually the Xbox One version, which can play on the Xbox Series X. This is not the actual Xbox Series X version. There is a Series X version that is out on disc, but that is not the one that I got. And Cold War is actually one of those Call of Duty games that currently is, like, weirdly kind of hard to find, unless you look online. So anyway, we were playing this on Xbox One because even though I have a Series X now, I figured it made more sense for me to play this version on Xbox One, and then maybe next year we can play the Xbox Series X version if I've managed to find it by then. But I am surprised at how not great this version of the game looks. Because I remember playing the PS4 version and feeling like it really didn't look that much different than the PS5 version. But this one's looking a little crunchy. Anyway, though, I'm only going to play this for a little while, just kind of as, like, tradition, and that if it ever loads. And then I'm going to jump over to Black Ops 6, because Black Ops 6 came out, and I have that on PS5. So there's going to be a little intermission at some point in the stream. It'll probably be, like, 10 to 15 minutes, if even that long, because to play zombies in Black Ops 6, you actually need a PlayStation Plus membership, and I don't have one right now, but I have the money in my PlayStation account for one, so I need to buy that, and then also hope to God that there are no updates for Black Ops 6, and then swap over all the wires and everything, and get that all set up, and kind of, what do you mean lost connection to host? I am the host. Also, because I'm doing something, my cat is freaking out in the background. This is weird. So, oh my god, every time I do something with recording or streaming or whatever, she loses her mind. Anyway, as I was saying, and I'll have to swap over wires and stuff. And my Elgato has been acting a little bit weird lately, too. What do you mean 10,000 that is not below 6,800. My Elgato has been acting a little bit weird lately, too, with, like, connecting, video. Like, I don't know what the issue is, but it's been, oh, wait, I think it loaded up. Okay, cool. Also, I don't know why it's giving me That's hilarious. It's saying that my stream's bitrate is too low, even though it's literally almost double what the... Yeah. Stream's current bitrate, 10,116, is lower than the recommended bitrate. We recommend that you stream using a bitrate of 6,800. My bitrate is literally almost double that. Anyway. I don't think we actually have any issues with the stream health. I hope not.
You have your orders, strike team.
So anyway, wow, yeah, this does not look as great as I remember Cold War looking. Anyway, and it also doesn't seem to be running at 60 FPS. This is weird. So what I'm trying to say is I need to get all of that stuff set. Also, can I not like double sprint? What the heck is... I need to get all that stuff set up to play on,
Whatever happened here is the
something
cause
seems
of a
weird
dimensional...
about the controls here. Or wait, no, Cold War you couldn't do the double sprint thing anyway.
The undead.
That's correct.
I'm used to Black Ops 6 where you can like jump all over the place. So, yeah, I was saying my Elgato, it's been acting a little weird lately where like it isn't recognizing video until I like re-add the Elgato as a source. It's not a big deal, but it's just kind of strange because I didn't have that issue for like ever. So I don't know what is causing that. The other thing too that I wanted to mention at the top of the stream here is if I sound weird or I end up coughing a little bit during the stream, I don't think I'm sick, but I'm in like one of those weird stages where like a while ago, back around Black Friday, I was sick, and I was not like horribly like physically sick, but I just kept like having like a ton of like stuffy nose stuff, like really bad, and then it kind of went away, and then now I seem to have a cough, and even it isn't like too bad, but like it's there, so it's kind of annoying. So if you hear me doing a lot of like clearing my throat or like coughing type of things, that's why. I really don't seem to be coughing that much though, except for like in the mornings or like after I've done something that like loosens up mucus, not to sound gross, like taking a shower or whatever. But yeah, that is the state of existence that I am currently in. So I'm doing like I figured I would do like the double shotgun thing for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War for this part of the stream, just because you can get to pretty high rounds pretty fast with that. So that's using this shotgun and then also the one you can buy off the wall over that way that looks like a what's the name of it? SPAS 12. Although I don't think it's called a SPAS 12. Or at least I'm pretty sure it's not called a SPAS 12 in the game. But yeah, so the Christmas stream, this is kind of a yearly thing, and the story that I like to tell in regards to it at the beginning of the stream is always kind of how this developed. Because this idea for a stream, even though I've been doing it for a while, kind of originally came into my mind when I was like younger, sort of. It sort of has developed out of a tradition, like a Christmas tradition that I had when I was a kid. So the story goes that when I was a little kid, there was this one year where I was super excited for Christmas, to the point where I woke up like really, really early on Christmas, like ridiculously early. And I don't even remember how old I was, but I was like pretty young. I was in like elementary school or whatever, like early elementary school, I think. And I woke up at like 3 a.m. or something crazy because I was so excited for Christmas. And sure enough, Santa's presents were already there. So I like woke my mom and dad up and I was like, yo, Santa came by. I mean, I don't know if I said yo. I might have said yo back then. I was hip and cool back then still. And you know, my parents were like, bro, it's 3 a.m. But they could see my excitement, and they were like, yeah, whatever, like, go ahead, you can open your presents now. And according to my mom and dad, I was kind of miserable for that, which I don't really remember that much of that day, except for like being up really early and it still being like dark out and opening Christmas presents. But apparently I was pretty cranky at like 3 a.m. opening Christmas presents. And so, ever since that year, my mom pretty much instituted a rule of, like, you can't open your Christmas presents too early. Pretty much she told me, I think it was like 7 a.m. She was like, do not wake me up until 7 a.m. on Christmas Day. And so... yeah, I had to wait until like at least 7 a.m. on Christmas Day to open presents. And that's kind of like, you know, for a couple years then I would wake up really early still, but then I'd have like nothing to do, but then I was like, well, I can't open my presents yet. So I'd end up just like watching TV for like 3 hours or whatever. And then kind of once I got a little bit older and I started playing games online and like playing video games like more sort of in my free time, like on my own and stuff, I kind of got into this habit where I would stay up pretty late on Christmas Eve, like not late enough that like Santa would like be present, but like pretty late for like my age. And then since I had stayed up so late, I would be really tired, and the next day I'd sleep in, and then I would sleep. I would just wake up and it would already be like time to open presents. And so that was the whole thing. And you know, as I got into high school and stuff, I kind of did that like with some of my friends and stuff. Like we would play, like, I remember one year I played Minecraft with one of my friends, and I think like other year Grand Theft Auto and stuff. And so we would stay up late and like play video games. And so then a couple years ago I decided to kind of transform that into this live stream idea and do the live stream until at least midnight. Although the first year I think I did it until like 2 a.m. or something crazy. So that's where the whole idea came from. And it also serves as sort of a good, like, end-of-year thing, special event in, like, a time to sort of reflect on the past year and everything. So, yeah, that's the whole purpose of it. I just realized I have nothing that I can see the current time with, which is, well, okay. I just want to make sure I don't accidentally spend too long on Cold War, because I do want to play Black Ops 6, especially because it will look nicer. I actually haven't played that much Black Ops 6 Zombies because I don't usually have PlayStation Plus because I don't really play that many games online. But Zombies mode, for some reason, even in single player, needs PlayStation Plus now. I think it's because of the whole thing about texture streaming or whatever, because you can play campaign mode of Black Ops 6 without a PlayStation Plus membership, but you need to have a PlayStation Plus membership to play Zombies or multiplayer. So that it kind of sucks, to be honest. Like, I remember I actually went to a midnight release for oh wow, I am out of ammo. I went to a midnight release for Black Ops 6 and got it home, and then of course, since everything takes forever to install, I didn't actually get to play it till the next day. The next day, I went to try to play it, and I went to try to play Zombies mode, and it was like, nope, you gotta have PlayStation Plus for that. And so I couldn't. So I mean, I played campaign, and the campaign was pretty good. But yeah, that was kind of annoying to buy this new game, especially to buy it not even at midnight. I got it early because the time zone that I live in. So yeah, that was an experience. It was kind of funny though. I didn't realize there was a midnight release happening for Black Ops 6 until the day of the game coming out. And so I called up like one of the local GameStops, because that was where I was doing it, and asked like, are you guys doing it, and did I need to have it pre-ordered? And they were like, no, like, yeah, we're doing it, and you don't have to have it pre-ordered. So I like went and I did that, and that was cool to experience that, because the last midnight video game release that I went to was Black Ops 4, I think. Yeah, it was the Call of Duty that didn't have a campaign. It was Black Ops 4. And that was cool. I actually just, it wasn't even like a midnight release event. It was just the fact that there was a Walmart in the area that was 24 hours still back then. And, I was able to just go and, like, buy it at midnight, which was, it was still cool nonetheless, but it wasn't really, like, a big deal. Like, I remember I had to, like, ask one of the employees specifically if I could have it now that it was past midnight, and he was like, oh, yeah, sure. So that was cool, though, because that was, I think, the first time I'd ever gotten a game at midnight. This one was a little bit more like hyped up, I guess, because like it was at a GameStop, it was at an actual video game store. The employees said that they were gonna try to do like an actual party for it, but that they couldn't get it set up. Apparently, like one of the local military base branches or whatever will actually bring out there's some big like communication center truck that they have, and like sometimes for midnight releases for like military related games they would like bring that out and let people play it on all the screens on there and stuff. But I guess like they didn't. And I mean there really weren't that many people there, but I was there. It was mostly like friends of the GameStop employees and then me, a random guy. So it was cool.
That's a dimensional breach, like the others. That's what Project End Station was. A gateway to another
I feel
dimension.
like that's kind of it for that.
But why? For what
When there was a free multiplayer weekend for PlayStation, though, that was when I played Black Ops 6 Zombies, and I think multiplayer too, for the first time. And it's pretty good. It kind of has like the same positive and negative as Cold War, with like the whole thing with, oh god, I don't remember. Okay, yes, I have to go up here and get a part. It kind of has the same thing with like Cold War, where Zombies mode is actually kind of really easy, but like it's kind of fun to be able to get to really high rounds. And then also Black Ops 6 has the thing where you can save your progress in a Zombies match and then come back to it, which is cool, although it's kind of weirdly set up because like the way they have it set up is that if you're in the pause menu for like 15 minutes, it will like log you out, and then it'll like log you out and then make you go, oh come on now, is the Aether Tunnel really going to be in like the one spot that I can't get to?
Infected threat removed.
It'll like not log you out, but it'll exit you out of the match and then like automatically do the oh wait, I could have gotten there. Log you out of the match and then like you have to go back into it, which I mean I guess I understand, but I remember when I was younger seeing there was Your Adopted, the zombie streamer. He was having a stream and he was like doing high rounds in Black Ops 2 Town, I think. And I remember specifically somebody asked him, how do you have your Xbox on for so long? And he like explained his whole process, because it was like 3 days into the stream. And I remember he was like saying something about he actually had 2 Xboxes. So like he had the one that he did streams on, and he would like go into the menus and then go into the options menu, so that way if his controller fell off of his table or whatever, it wouldn't accidentally restart the game or exit the game or whatever.
What the hell just happened?
And
This is incredible.
he also was saying that he had the 2 Xboxes, so that way pretty much he could like play other video games as like taking a break from his like live stream from his runs and stuff. Because he would have to have his Xbox on for like a week straight, he said, because he would just like play and then turn it off, go to sleep, go to work, and then come back, and then like, or not even turn the console off, he would like turn his TV off and leave the console on, and like come back, keep streaming, keep like going for higher rounds and stuff. Interestingly, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was looking up that guy's channel, and I couldn't really find that much. It looks like he still streams sometimes, but I couldn't really see that much about his stuff, because I've mentioned him a few times.
Confirming kill.
But I was actually kind of tempted at first to go and like try to get to a high round in Black Ops 6 and then save and then like pick it up on the stream. But the PlayStation Plus weekend ended like early, actually, like a day early, and so I wasn't able to play it anymore. And then also I was kind of like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of the stream to some extent, though, I'd say, because you know then it like you're not actually seeing the whole run. So I have had a pretty productive Christmas Eve. Not even in like the traditional Christmas sense, but in like terms of a random project that I decided to work on. So I've mentioned before, through my job, I'm able to usually get some like pretty cool stuff for pretty cheap, like various video game things, and, like technology things, and just everything. And so I actually got a cheap iMac the other day at work, and it's like a 2014, I think, but it's also like a souped up 2014. So it's got an i7, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, etc. Only thing was, it's one of those Macs. I wanted specifically to get a Mac that can run an older version of Mac OS that supports 32-bit apps, because a lot of Mac games are older and are 32-bit versions. And so that version of Mac could go kind of either way, where it could either have one of the newer versions of Mac OS that doesn't support 32-bit, or it could have one of the early versions that does support 32-bit. Well, anyway, when I bought it, turns out that it was running Catalina, which does not support 32-bit apps. So I knew you could downgrade Mac OS, but that it could be kind of iffy. Anyway, I went through the whole process of downgrading Mac OS to Mojave, which I believe is the last version of Mac OS to support 32-bit apps. And it actually was surprisingly cooperating with me. Like, I always run into trouble whenever I try to do anything sort of complex related to, like, computers and stuff. But it actually worked. I got it. I mean, it was pretty easy, like, for me compared to some other people who have done that kind of thing, because I didn't actually need to save any files. So pretty much just deleted, well, first made the bootable installer for macOS Mojave, and then from there, I deleted everything off the hard drive, and then used the macOS Mojave installer to install Mojave. And it actually worked totally fine on the first try. Did not even take that long. I was shocked, because I always run into issues doing that kind of stuff. But I didn't run into any issues at all. But then, where I did run into an issue was with Steam. So everything was working fine, and then I go to download the Mac version of Steam, and Steam is like giving me this error where it's like, can't connect to, like, you need to be connected to the internet for Steam to update. Well, dude, I am connected to the internet. So anyway, I tried like every single thing that I could to fix this, because apparently I'm not the only person to run into this issue, and not even only Mac users have run into this issue, but like even Windows people have run into this issue too. So I did like every single thing that I could find suggested. I went into this like hosts file and made sure that it like was set up to like be able to take stuff from Steam. I went and I like reinstalled Steam like 3 or 4, like not even, more like 7 or 8 times. One kind of weird suggestion that a bunch of people said worked was that they used their phone hotspot to connect to the computer, they connect to the internet on their computer through their phone's hotspot, and then that worked, and that was actually a pain for me to do, because my current phone, long story short, I can't set up a hotspot on there because I bought it unlocked, and so like it's not set up with all the like proprietary crap from my cell phone provider and blah blah blah, and so I actually had to take my SIM card out of my phone, put it in my old phone that I originally got from my network provider, try to use the hotspot on that phone, and that still didn't work. So nothing I did would work with it. But another thing that did work was actually Boot Camp to run Windows on Mac. And so I got that set up pretty easily. And so I was like, thank goodness that worked. So that got set up pretty easily, just took a really long time to like download everything, and so now it can dual boot into Mac OS or Windows, and the Windows version of SteamOS downloaded fine on there, so, or not SteamOS, of just Steam downloaded fine on there, and so I downloaded like Black Ops 2, and that seemed to be running pretty well, and I was going to download Max Payne 3, but it didn't finish downloading yet. So, I mean, like, hey, I guess I can't complain too much because it's kind of doing what I wanted to do. And it is nice to also have, like, a computer that's running Windows and Mac OS and can do some gaming. Because my old gaming laptop is so slow now. I don't know what the issue is with it. Like, I don't know if it's just age. I think it might partially be the battery. The battery in it is pretty much totally shot. And I think just, like, I think I had too much crap on there. I had like years and years of school files and stuff on there. So a lot of that kind of thing, and so that computer, like, I can't really even use that much. And also, the whole time I had it, like, whenever I would actually try to play a game on it, despite it being a gaming computer, it would always, like, barely run or it would run games, but it would not always necessarily run them well. And then alongside that, the fan on it, no matter what game I was playing, would kick up to maximum, so I couldn't even hear the games usually. That computer was great for a lot of things, but like one thing that it was advertised as being for, it was like always kind of iffy about. So this iMac, even though I think it's technically weaker than that computer was, it seems to be doing okay with gaming, so that is very helpful. So anyway, that was pretty much my Christmas Eve. Not really like a Christmas related thing, but still like a cool kind of thing that I got to do, even though I didn't get it to work like 100% like I wanted it to. So yeah, that was nice. Gave me something to do today. But it is still really annoying me that I couldn't get the Mac OS version of Steam to work. But whatever. I have a lot of stuff to do, actually. That's something, like, I know I haven't made that many videos lately. I need to pause this. I need to shift in my chair. Also, I need to take the sweatshirt off. It is warm. Alright, I'm back. So, what I was saying, yeah, I know I haven't actually made that many videos lately. I've just had so many various things occurring, and I know, I say that constantly, but genuinely, I have had so much going on. A while ago, I started working more hours at my job, so that's been a busy thing. And then to kind of quote something from my girlfriend that she pointed out to me, a while back, my girlfriend made a really good point about something. She was like, you know, you kind of create tasks for yourself sometimes. And her example is the fact that, like, I have 2 vehicles. And she's right, because owning 2 vehicles, although it has its uses, especially because one of my vehicles is a truck and one of my vehicles is a sports car, and so they do very different things. That owning 2 vehicles also subsequently means 2 times the maintenance. I have to get oil changes for both of them. I have to get anything else maintained on them. I need to try to make sure to drive both of them. I need to, like, I use them for different things, so I'm always swapping out vehicles. And, you know, that takes a lot of time, and even though, like, there's an aspect of that that is very useful, because, again, they're very useful for very different things. There's a lot of things that I can do in my truck that I can't do in my sports car, and then there's some things that I can do in my sports car that I can't really do in my truck. Still, she's right. And then there's a lot of other times, too, where, like, I end up just, like I'll have a day off from work, and I'll just end up doing some sort of, like, I'll end up on some absurd journey doing something. And a lot of times it's not really necessary, and so I've been trying to, like, cut down on that, because a lot of times that'll end up, you know, I'll wake up on a day off, and then I'll go do some sort of thing somewhere far away, for no real reason, and then, like, other than just, like, this seems like a thing I could do today. And then, you know, by the time I get home, I'm, like, really tired, and, like, I end up wanting to take a nap, or it's just already late in general. And so I've been trying to cut down on that so I have more time. Yeah, and then also just, like, various other things with my various family members being kind of needy all the time. But, you know, it's just, there's a lot of that going on. And I've said before, even though my job is not bad, it's a very tiring job, so a lot of times when I get done with work, I'm really tired out on those days, and I don't really do much else other than just kind of go home and eat and go to sleep. So yeah.
Who's next? I'm ready.
But speaking of vehicles and jobs and stuff, it is weird to think, that, like, even though it's been a little bit longer than a year that I got back from grad school in the UK and stuff, it is also kind of weird to think that it's been sort of about a year since I did that, because this year has been like busy. I mean, I feel like the past 2 or 3 years have been really, really busy for me, because like I graduated college and then I wasn't really doing anything, and then I applied to grad school, and then I had to like save up money for grad school, and I was working in a restaurant for a bit and kind of hated it, and I guess I didn't really do much that year. But then the year that I was in grad school, I did a ton of stuff because I was in grad school, and so I had a lot of work to do for that, and then I also made a lot of friends, and I was doing a lot of like various college related things again, and that was really busy. And then now this year, now that I'm back in the US again and not in grad school, it's like I got a job, and then I got a car, and then I got that truck, and then like there's just a ton of other stuff that I've been doing. In some ways I really wish it would calm down, because I'm kind of tired of doing things. But yeah, I've been trying to like get some more stuff together for videos. Even though I haven't really worked on a lot of videos lately, I've acquired a lot of stuff for various videos and other projects and I just need to kind of find the time to actually work on those things. So, you know, it's going kind of, but it really has been just like a crazy year, like just crazy busy with all of the stuff that I've been doing. Hang on, I need to go wipe my nose, so give me 1 second. Where did I put my computer mouse? There it is. I gotta make good use of the screensaver thing that my girlfriend made me. Hang on, let me see if I can move the order there. There we go. Yes, I'll be right back. Okay, I am right back. Need to grab my controller, and also need to move back over to that window, and yeah, I'm back. You know, with wiping my nose right there, kind of had me thinking, you know, the pandemic still frustrates me so much. I feel like this is a thing that I've brought up on every single year of the stream, especially because I think the first year I did this was like in the pandemic. It's just so annoying, like diseases. 'Cause like, you know, I said how I'm not really feeling bad right now, but I've had the whole thing of like having a cough and like a little bit of a runny nose still. And like, I remember, you know, I think the same thing, I don't know if maybe I caught the same thing as I did when I was in the UK, but when I was in the UK, I remember, there was this one time, it was pretty shortly after I started grad school, where me and like everybody else on campus all got sick, and it was like, it kind of happened the same way as it's happening this time, where like we all got pretty sick for like, it was only like a day or two that we were actually really sick, but then it just took forever to recover, because it was like all of us were like coughing and sneezing all the time, like we all had a ton of like stuffed up noses, and then we all lost our voice, and then I had like, you know, I had lost my voice, and then there was like a like cough still for like an extra month afterwards, and it just sucked. Kind of reminds me of that, but it's so frustrating with the pandemic, because it's like, regardless of what people say with like studies that have been done about it, people are actually getting sick or not more now. I feel like people are. I know myself, like, definitely, because I get sick a lot more than I used to before the pandemic. Before the pandemic, I would get sick maybe like 2 or 3 times a year, whereas now it's more closer to like 6 or 7 at least. When I was in the UK, I was sick literally every single month, usually, and you would always last like at least a week. I mean, that was like a fourth of my year that I was sick. And so, Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like a combo of just so many things. I mean, there's the stuff already about how there's so many kids that grew up like for like 2 years in the pandemic during like really crucial points in their development, and they don't really know like social skills now. At least not at like a normal level. I feel like that's part of it, because like there's a lot of kids that probably don't understand to not cough on each other, because like they're not really used to being around each other. And then also like on the other end of it, there's a lot of like adults that I hate the fact that the pandemic became a political thing, but like there's a lot of adults now that just don't seem to believe diseases exist anymore. And I think that there's a lot of people that almost like go out of their way to get other people sick whenever they're sick. I mean, I see it all the time where, like, you know, you go into a grocery store and there's somebody just absolutely coughing up a lung, and they do not seem to notice. They do not have a care in the world that they're coughing all over the lettuce, you know? And it's like, you know, even if you don't believe in masks or whatever, it's like, if you're, like, you should have the basic decency of, if you're sick, maybe stay home, or at least don't actively cough on all the lettuce without, like, covering your mouth, you know? But that's just some small annoyances that I have. It's just, I feel like this year, especially now that I'm like working again and I'm working in a job where I like interact with a lot of people, I feel like I get sick. Like I get sick a lot. like just in general, the past couple years, I've just gotten sick so much more than I used to, and it sucks. And it's always like it lasts for friggin' ever. Like, I was actually looking through a bunch of old tweets recently, and if I remember right, last year when I went to do this stream, it was almost the same story where I had gotten sick. And actually, if I remember right, I even remember being sick like the week before Christmas, and then only feeling better like within like 2 days before Christmas. And I just remember, like, I don't even think I talked that much on the stream that year.
Molotov.
Trying to think of if I have any other interesting tidbits to talk about. Well, one nice thing about having a job now is that I've actually been able to like buy some video games and stuff. Black Friday, I got a lot of stuff actually, which was weird because not that many places actually had that much stuff. Some GameStops opened at like 5 a.m. on Black Friday, including a bunch of the ones in my area. And I didn't know that until like the night before, and so I actually got up Black Friday at like 5 a.m. to go to GameStop. And it was really funny because it was weird because GameStop actually opened earlier than a lot of other places. Like a bunch of other retailers were open at like 6 a.m. So I went to GameStop, and it was such a surreal experience because the GameStop was just open, but you know, it was really early in the morning. And I got like the very first stop that I went to was GameStop, and I remember like I bought like 3 or 4 games because they actually had a pretty good amount of stuff in stock, which was surprising for GameStop, to be honest. A lot of GameStops, weirdly enough, don't seem to actually have that many games. And then like the rest of the day though, I could barely find anything anywhere. Especially, I remember when I went to a Target and they literally didn't have an Xbox section anymore. And this was like, you know, I had already bought my Series X, and I asked one of the employees, like, do you guys have physical Xbox games? And he said something about that, like, Black Ops 6 was the last physical Xbox game that his Target was, like, going to get or something. Now, he said also, though, that Black Ops 6 was, like, the last Xbox physical game, which I don't think is true, because I've seen that new Indiana Jones game on a disc. But yeah, it is weird, and it just, it really kind of, I don't know, I mean, I understand the convenience of digital video game purchases, but I also like to own the discs and stuff, and it just kind of sucks that, like, it seems like it's becoming less and less of an option to actually, like, purchase discs of your game. And I'm really kind of fearing that the next console generation is just not going to have discs available. Especially given that, like, the new versions of the PlayStation and, well, the PS5 Pro and the newer versions of the Xbox, like, a lot of them don't have disc drives included. The PS5 Pro, you can get the disc add-on, but it doesn't come with one from the get-go. And then there's also, like, that new white Xbox Series X that doesn't have a disc drive. And, I'm not a fan of that. I really, like... I am somebody who likes to go into game stores and buy games and stuff. And to be honest, I feel like if game consoles do go all digital within the next, like, console generation, I really don't know if I'm gonna buy new games anymore. Because, like, there's so many games that already exist. There's so many games that I already own. Like, I have been able to buy so many games through my current job with, like, the discount that I mentioned a few times and everything. I have such a huge backlog of games that I've not played. And there's just so many. And the other thing, too, is, like, even with just this current console generation, there's not even that many games that have come out that I've found interesting. Like, not that I mean that I haven't, like, that I've played and not found interesting, but just games that have come out and that I've just not been interested in purchasing. So I just feel like if the next console generation goes all digital, there's really not going to be a point in me buying it at all, because I already don't really buy digital games, like, ever. And I also just don't even really seem to buy that many new games. So, yeah. Speaking of games on discs, I had another kind of interesting project that worked out really well the other day. And I tweeted about it. So, Club Penguin. There's a new single-player client for Club Penguin called Waddle Forever, and I already made a video about it. It's really easy to set up and everything, but the cool thing about Waddle Forever is that, long story short, it doesn't really have any dependencies, it doesn't seem like. Like, it installs everything you need. And if you put Waddle Forever into its own folder, you can actually put it onto removable storage and then use it on seemingly any Windows computer. And so, alongside doing that with a flash drive, I actually also did that with a CD. Waddle Forever is just barely too big to fit onto a CD, but I did that with a DVD, and it totally worked. It was kind of slow, but yeah, I think, as I said in that tweet, I think I made what is the first ever, I think I made what is the first ever physical copy of Club Penguin on a DVD, which is really cool. I was kind of shocked that it worked, but not that surprised. But yeah, it is sitting in a box alongside all of my other games now. And I need to make a video about that. And then I also need to just do some more investigations into Waddle Forever and, like, see what modding stuff there is and all that type of stuff. Because I'd like to make some more tutorials for it. I meant to make more tutorials for CPSC about, like, making mods and stuff, especially once I found out about FFdeck, which is, like, a free Flash file editor thing. And so I just never got around to it, though, and now there's Waddle Forever. And Waddle Forever works mostly the same way, but not exactly. So, kind of could go, like, it's in some ways it's more useful, in some ways it's less useful. There's a lot that I still need to figure out with it. I think this is also the first year that I'm ever streaming the Christmas stream in 1080p. Previous years I always had to bump the resolution way down because I couldn't get, like I said, I couldn't really get anything to run properly on my old computer. But I've done a couple streams on this new computer, and, like, I've been able to stream consistently in 1080p, which is really, really nice. Actually, now that I think about it, I am going to check on that, because it looks like YouTube settings are 1080p. Let me see what this says. Does this tell me what I'm streaming in? Video. Output. 1080p. Yep. So that's cool. I really, really like this new computer that I got. I know I got it a while ago, and I know that I kind of say constantly that I really like it, but I really, really do like this computer. It was a super useful investment, and I still have yet to kind of unlock its full potential and actually use it for that much, but it just makes working on so much video and just content creation stuff that I want to work on so much easier. When I was messing with that iMac earlier today, it made me realize just kind of how how unsnappy Windows can be, because even though that was running an old version of Mac OS, just the Mac OS on there compared to the Windows on there, Windows just does not move sometimes, whereas Mac OS usually does. Now, I mean, that being said, sometimes there's issues in Mac OS that like can be really hard to resolve, because there's always like, sometimes there's really roundabout ways that you have to fix stuff in Mac OS just because of the way that it's set up. There's a lot of like Mac OS that really is like super simple with like how like apps are, you can just delete apps by dragging them in the trash can and stuff. But there's other situations where Mac OS can get really, really convoluted. But overall, especially if you're using like a new version of Mac OS and you're not screwing with a bunch of stuff, you're like installing just like normal programs and stuff, dude, Mac OS is just so good. Yeah. Actually, funny enough, I'm looking on the preview window for my Elgato right now, and it almost looks like on the Elgato it's like running at a better frame rate. But I realized I accidentally closed my chat, so I need to open that back up in case anybody is watching. Again, sorry about the kind of random hiccups and coughs and stuff. That's just my life right now.
Check out my new assault rifle.
I recently played through Alan Wake 2. That was kind of cool. I have mixed feelings about it, but it was nice to just sit down and play through a game, because I haven't really done that lately. I really kind of want to play through another one, because on Black Friday and like surrounding days, I bought like probably close to 10 games on PS5 and Xbox Series X. I really haven't played through any of them. I replayed through Control before I played through Alan Wake, especially because I hadn't played the AWE expansion for that game. So I played Control, and then I played Alan Wake 2, and, oh. Okay, well, I guess that's the end of that. You know, Control wasn't as good as I remembered. And Alan Wake 2, I'm not going to spoil anything, because I know there's a lot of people that still haven't played that game. But Alan Wake 2 is, like, good, but it's weird. It's really different than the first game, like, in terms of gameplay. And there's a lot of weird directions that they went in with it that don't really seem to match up. And also, like, the whole Remedy Extended Universe thing, it feels sometimes, like, forced in Alan Wake 2. Because there's a whole thing with, like, the characters Mr. Door and Tim Breaker. And, like, they're played by the same actors as played Hatch and Joyce in Quantum Break, but since like Microsoft owns Quantum Break, they're not like actually the same characters, and there's like a whole weird side story with them that like I don't like. It's cool that they're there, but it just I don't understand it. Anyway though, what time is it? 10:48. I am still gonna keep playing this for a little bit longer before I go and swap over to Black Ops 6, because I wanted to play this for at least an hour. So, and then there will be, like I said, a little short intermission, and I'm going to swap over to my PS5 and get Black Ops 6 set up, and hopefully, oh good god, hopefully there are no massive Black Ops 6 updates. I really need to clean in here too. Getting this stream set up today, and then also messing on that iMac. I have wires all over the place, and like there's a PS3 just sitting on the ground, and it's a mess. But I hope you guys are having a good Christmas. It's doing these streams has been nice for like a lot of reasons, but one of them especially has just been that like it's been nice to have like a tradition. I mean, of course my family has like Christmas traditions and stuff, but like it's been nice to kind of create my own tradition, because I feel like for a couple years there, when the pandemic was happening, and then when I was like working that crappy job at that restaurant, and then when I was at grad school, you know, I was in a different country, none of my family was nearby. You know, like, it wasn't that I wasn't in the Christmas spirit, but it was just like I wasn't really able to do anything for Christmas. And so doing these live streams has been kind of a cozy, like, Christmas thing, and every year, you know, gets me more into the Christmas spirit. In fact, this year, I was actually pretty into the Christmas spirit. I did a lot of Christmas shopping for other people this year. I got, like, a lot of gifts for other people, which was really nice. Especially, like, because I have a job now and I can actually, like, afford some of that stuff. I sent my girlfriend a video game console. I sent, like, some distant relatives that, like, I hadn't even necessarily always sent cards to. Like, I sent them gift cards and stuff, and, like, within my own family that I live with, I bought, like, a ton of gifts. Well, not like a ton. I don't want to like overestimate that, but like I bought a good amount of gifts and like got everything wrapped, and it's been like really fun and nice to do that stuff. I guess it's kind of the whole like, now that I'm an adult, seeing a little bit of the other side of Christmas with that, like, you know, kind of thing. Of course, everybody knows Santa is the primary provider of gifts on Christmas, but I know that within like my own realm, you know, I always, like, there was always a couple things that I got from my parents when I was younger. And that was always nice. Speaking of that, I really haven't even talked about Christmas that much on this stream. Earlier today when I was having dinner, Santa was in, like,
Infected threat removed.
like Brazil or something. That was kind of cool. It's weird because this year I've been more in the Christmas spirit than past years, I feel like, but also at the same point I've kind of forgotten to do a lot of Christmas things. Like, I haven't really checked NORAD's Santa tracker at all to see where Santa is. But yeah. What I was saying about kind of seeing the other side of things, you know, it's nice, like, when I was a little kid, I remember, like, being all excited, you know, to wake up and just, like, I used to get quite a few presents from Santa, not to brag. Like, I would wake up and, like, some years there was a ton of stuff under the tree. And, you know, that was always, like, really magical and stuff. And in some ways now it's kind of, like, nice on the other end of things to, like, see, you know, of course I'm not buying, like, Santa levels of presents, but to just be able to get stuff for other people. Yeah. You know, when I was, like, thinking about doing this stream, I felt like I had a lot more things that I was going to, like, have updates on and stuff like I do kind of at the end of the year. But, like, honestly, I feel like I've kind of already said everything. I guess in terms of other projects outside of, like, the Wolf channel, I've been working on a couple things. I've got, like, one pretty big Club Penguin idea that I haven't really started working on it, but I've started kind of gathering things for it, and, like, figuring out how I'm going to do it. I don't really know if it'll work out, though, because it's one of those things, that, like, could make the mouse a little bit angry. But it's not like creating a CPPS or anything like that, don't worry. But it's a couple things that, like, I'm not sure if I, like, maybe would get a cease and desist about it. But there's that. I'm still keeping it kind of a secret in a separate thing right now, but I was doing a blog thing on Substack, but it was like a themed thing. And that was fun to write, but then it just kind of fell by the wayside a couple weeks back, and I really haven't worked on it. It was one of those things that, like, in my brain, like, it was a really good idea. And it was a really good idea at first, but then I kind of really quickly ran out of content for it. So, I don't know. I'm thinking about shutting that down, but even if I do, I'll probably, like, put some sort of archive of it somewhere. Yeah, but that was fun while it lasted. Otherwise, I've been wanting to try to do some more writing. I say that a lot and then don't really ever get to it, but I kind of started working on a little bit of writing recently, but not that much. And one other thing, this is going to sound kind of extreme, but I've been considering if I would maybe want to try to get a PhD, just because, like, I've been thinking more about, like, my master's degree, and, like, when I got my master's degree, there was, like, some of my friends that were there were, like, getting their PhDs and stuff, and just the idea of, like, being a professor somewhere or whatever. I have some ideas that I think would be fun for, like, college-level classes and stuff, so, I literally went to the mystery box to avoid getting this, or to try to get something different than that, and of course, still got more. But that's still kind of, like, a thing that I'm very early on in considering. I'm not really sure, like, if I want to go through that whole process, because, like, PhD applications can be kind of hard, and then you gotta go to school for however many more years, and, yeah. And anyway, I need to go wipe my nose again, so give me 1 sec. Okay, I am back. Let me go ahead and get the game back up on here. It probably also doesn't help that I had, like, a really big dinner. So I am, like, really bloated. Yeah.
Assault rifle. Wasted him.
No, hang on. I forgot to pop the chat back up again. There we go. Now that I've got this whole new setup for streaming and stuff, and I've had it for a while, I really need to try to do another stream sometime of, like, some PS3 games. I really haven't done any PS3 game streams in a while, and I really haven't even played that many PS3 games in a while. But I should really try to do, like, another Black Ops 2 stream or something again sometime. I have all the equipment for it, I just haven't quite gotten to it yet.
Hostile removed. Nothing survives a headshot.
You know, something that's kind of surprised me this year, that I was thinking about a little bit earlier today in regards to Christmas and stuff, is, like, you know, I was talking about Black Friday a little bit ago, and, like, Black Friday is kind of a big deal to me. Like, I like to go shopping on Black Friday and stuff. You know, it feels like over the past few years, like there was a weird sort of, like, bell curve of Black Friday stuff, I feel like, where, back in, like, the early to mid 2010s, there was, like, a really big emphasis on Black Friday, where, like, stuff was getting crazy. I mean, Black Friday has always been kind of crazy, but it was, like, you know, stores were opening on Thanksgiving and stuff like that, and, like, people were getting kind of angry about it, and then it feels like now they've stepped, like, really far in the opposite direction, where, like, stores aren't even, like, really doing special stuff on, like, for hours on Black Friday. And to be honest, it feels like there's not even always that many Black Friday sales anymore. You know, I feel like I've had kind of the opposite shock with stores this year, like with like holidays this year, because Black Friday felt kind of like less than it used to be. But yeah, this year, Christmas, I'm surprised with the number of things that I've found are open on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Especially places that are open like normal hours, or like just like even if they're open like shorter hours, they're still open like late. There's a lot of places that were open like pretty late on Christmas Eve. And I don't really know if that many places are open on Christmas Day, but even still, it seems like there's a lot of places that are. And then same with New Year's. I feel like there's a ton of places that are open like normal hours on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, which is kind of strange. I made sure this year to try to get all of my holiday shopping done well in advance of Christmas. I think I got a pretty good amount of it done around Black Friday, and then a lot of it done like 2 weeks ago, like the remainder of it. So I really haven't had to stress too much about like what to get people. I mean, I had to stress a little bit about what to get people, but I mean in terms of like actually finding the time to get them stuff, I want to make sure that I kind of did it ahead of time, so that way I wasn't squeezed for time, and that way, you know, if anything popped up, I didn't have to worry about like last minute gifts or whatever. And I think it worked out pretty well. That being said, having got a lot of people gifts this year, I spent quite a bit of money on Christmas this year. Not like a crazy amount, but a pretty good amount. Actually, I think, yep, it is 11 o'clock now, so, like I said, I was only going to play this for part of the stream, because I didn't want to, like, I want to have a little bit of Black Ops Cold War, just kind of for, like, the fact that I've done this sort of every year for this, except for the year I was overseas in England for grad school. But I am going to go ahead and quit the match and turn my Xbox off and go ahead and swap over to my PS5, and we're going to go ahead and swap to Black Ops 6. That being said, since I'm going to have to swap a bunch of wires and stuff around, I am actually going to stop the stream for now, and then I'm going to restart the stream in hopefully no longer than like 15 minutes. It just kind of depends on like if Black Ops 6 has an update or something. It could be longer than that if I have to wait for Black Ops 6 to update or anything. But yeah, I am going to go ahead and end this portion of the stream, swap over to Black Ops 6, and then restart the stream. So, let me pull up OBS here. So thank you guys for watching this portion of the stream. Let me go ahead and